eventually did open the gates, and all of these pilgrims, all kinds of people, young, elderly, religious, people with push chairs, running to try and get front row seats to what was a beautiful mass in the end. And it's a beautiful day in Rome as well, as Linda said. The square was gorgeous, and I can only imagine that the procession through Rome, Pope Francis's last trip from St. Peter's Basilica to St. Mary Major, in such a beautiful day, he couldn't have been sent off in a nicer way, I'd say.
Yes, I agree. The itinerary chosen is the straightest itinerary between St. Peter's Basilica and St. Mary Major, but it crosses some of Rome's, well, I mean, Rome's all beautiful, but some of the most famous landmarks. So it will be going down Corso Vittorio Emanuele. It will cross the river first and foremost. It will arrive in Piazza Venezia, where the altar of the fallen soldier is. And that also is the beginning of the incredible Via dei Fori Imperiali, where the Roman Forum is. So he will be carried in procession, we call it a funeral procession, through the tombs and through the city of ancient Rome, with the statues of Julius Caesar and the temples, and before the Colosseum. He's going to pass in front of the Colosseum, and then he's going to turn onto Via Labicana and walk up Via Merulana. It's quite a steep uphill, with St. John Lateran behind him, finally to arrive at St. Mary Major, which hosts, as we all know, the famous icon Salus Populi Romani, the patron saint of Romans, and the Virgin who Pope Francis himself was so beloved. It was his beloved icon.
So not only is he moving to rest by his beloved icon, as you described it, but the way in which he's reaching it, he's passing almost through the three papal basilicas. It's quite a homage, I'd say.
No, you're right. There are four papal basilicas. The other one is St. Paul's outside the walls, which is off the route. But yes, you're right. St. Peter's, very close to St. John Lateran, which is the Bishop of Rome's basilica, and finally St. Mary Major.
And of course, St. John Lateran there, the Cathedral of Rome. It's actually the Cathedral Basilica of the Diocese of Rome as well, and all in that area. The images we're seeing here now, many of the diplomatic corps and world leaders would have exited through that area there, or are going to leave from this area, which is Piazza Santa Marta, just behind the Basilica there. So we're seeing some of that live as they exit the Basilica. And throughout this morning, we've had stunning photography. I think it's definitely a novelty of having some of the drone photography we've seen. Just these stunning images of this very moving and powerful celebration, this wonderful tribute, as well as the Basilica itself, the square itself, the images, the particularly poignant moments during this, the liturgy, the Requiem Mass, have been captured with this stunning photography. And then our television viewers can see as well, this weather is absolutely perfect. It couldn't be a better day, very comfortable temperatures, strong sunshine, and just very light winds. And it's always powerful seeing the coffin in the square and then the pages of the gospel there kind of patiently changing in the wind there. Those are very strong or powerful symbolic moments there that we all lived, as well as the tribute from the Eastern churches at the end of the funeral when they paid their tribute to Pope Francis in the languages and chants of their own traditions, part of the hugely diverse Catholic and Eastern traditions and Christian traditions around the world represented there in this way. We can see here.
We saw Jews, we saw Sikhs, we saw Sheiks, We saw
indeed
we saw
interreligious representation.
the Indian
well.
indigenous Littlefoot, I think his name
Little
is.
Chief, I think.
Little
From
Chief
Canada? Yes.
From
From Canada.
We saw many heads of state. We saw, of course, the College of Cardinals almost complete, although I think there are some cardinals who still have to arrive in Rome for this coming week, which will see them gathering in general congregations during this time of sede vacante. They will be discussing the days to come, the date of the conclave, and of course they will be administering to the Holy See as the sede vacante tells us. It is a vacancy and they are governing the Vatican at this time.
Yes, as you mentioned, Linda, too, the interreligious representation was particularly was amazing in terms of the numbers and the various representatives and paying tribute to Pope Francis, who was wonderful in uniting and in building bridges of friendship. The term also used often fraternity, as with his encyclical Fratelli Tutti, building bridges across religious and cultural expanses to share in our common humanity, our shared values, and they will remember that in a special way, and for that reason were present for this send-off of Pope Francis.
Even with this funeral mass and with his request to be buried at St. Mary Major, that is what he's doing. He's being close to the people, and it's not a coincidence that he's been dubbed the Pope of the peripheries. And for those of you who are following, you can see that the Pope's coffin is now departing Casa Santa Marta, his home for the last 12 years, and leaving the Vatican, and the procession to St. Mary Major is beginning.
Yes, it's almost like a Pope-mobile, open, white. It's actually a hearse, I think we can call it correctly, a hearse. There is no procession behind it. We've been told that the indications are that it will drive at about 10 kilometers per hour, so it should take about half an hour to reach St. Mary Major. Perhaps for security reasons, people have been asked not to walk behind it, but they will definitely be lining the streets.
And we've seen some of the images of the entirety of the route that you described earlier. Thousands and thousands of people have taken to the streets to say goodbye for the last time, and of course everyone will be able to visit St. Mary Major and visit Pope Francis's tomb. But this really is, the day that we are dedicating to him to say goodbye. And Rome, and not only Rome, the faithful have really come out for that.
Very symbolically also, we know that a group of mostly poor people who are assisted by charities will be at St. Mary Major to welcome him to his final resting place. The Pope of the peripheries, the Pope of the people, is very aptly receiving his last embrace from those who he loved the most, the smallest, the weakest, the last in society.
We see the whole entourage there from high above. Now they've just exited Vatican City. They're on the avenue here that leads to a tunnel that then crosses over the Tiber River and will take them into the historic center. People lining the streets there, and we've had plenty of reports of people lining the streets across the city since this morning. So while many were crowded into St. Peter's Square, which had at least around 50,000 until they had to kind of close it off due to the numbers, and then so many hundreds of 150,000 others in the avenues surrounding the area. We have many people as well, in addition, lining the streets here, the sidewalks, to pay their final respects to Pope Francis and the entourage here.